You know, dwellers, the one thing I like more than a good fright is a good laugh.
Once in a while, a good horror can mesh comedy and horror together like a yummy movie sandwich.
It's the best of both worlds. A cool, snarky comment right before the gore. What's not to love?
When have you ever been cool?
That hurts, Sally. Your words can hurt. Anyway, we're Mitch and Sallie from Basement 1F, and let's dive into our top 10 horror comedies.
Number 10. Dead Alive, aka Brain Dead, 1992.
Peter Jackson's Dead Alive, or Brain Dead, depending on where you're from, is the blood-soaked masterpiece that has it all. Zombies, kung fu priests, and lawnmower massacres.
If you've ever wondered what it looks like when a guy shreds an entire room of zombies with a lawnmower, well, here's your chance. And it's boss.
I friggin' love the kung fu priest. I kick ass for the Lord.
That was oddly good. Brain Dead is basically a live-action cartoon, except instead of anvils, you get intestines flying everywhere. And tell you what, I'm here for it.
It's gory, it's ridiculous, and it's hilarious. If you haven't seen it, fix yourself. This one is for the gorehounds.
Number 9. Gremlins, 1984.
Oh look, it's a Christmas movie. How festive!
It's Spielberg's holiday classic, the tale of a boy and his odd pet that sprouts hell beasts if you throw water on him.
But hey, at least Gizmo's adorable.
But don't forget the rules. No bright light, don't get them wet, and definitely don't feed them after midnight. Though how that works with time zones, I got no idea.
Love the scene when the mom pops a gremlin in the microwave.
Oh, it's got the humor, it's got the horror, and who could forget the iconic bar scene with all the gremlins getting all trashed? If you need a break from a feel-goody type holiday flick, Gremlins is here to wreak a little havoc.
Number 8. Army of Darkness, 1992.
It's Ash, baby. Army of Darkness might be the ultimate mix of slapstick comedy and chainsaw carnage.
Calm down, fanboy. Though it leans almost too far into slapstick at times, don't hate. It does deliver with Ash's delicious one-liners.
Hail to the king, baby.
And don't forget the tiny ashes. So many ashes, so little time.
Time for what?
Number 7. An American Werewolf in London, 1981.
It's the time-old tale. Boy sees werewolf, boy gets bitten, boy turns into a monster in one of the greatest transformation scenes ever filmed.
Right? That transformation scene is terrifying and amazing, but the dark humor throughout is good.
I mean, the guy's best friend keeps showing up as a progressively rotting corpse, offering helpful advice like, hey, you should probably off yourself before you go full wolf mode.
It's a great mix of terror and twisted humor by John Landis. Plus there's the whole werewolf rampage through London and a climax that's so oddly, terrifyingly silly McBonkers crazy wild.
If you love werewolves but also want to laugh at one guy's tragic misfortune, this one's for you. And me.
Number 6. What We Do in the Shadows, 2014.
Vampires, but make them awkward roommates. It's simple, yet genius.
This mockumentary-style comedy about a group of vampires trying to navigate modern life in New Zealand is hilarious. They're ancient beings, but they can't figure out almost anything modern.
Like the internet. It's filmed like a documentary, like The Office, except with more blood and less competence.
Titular vampires Viago, Vladislav, Deacon, and Peter are each a comedic goldmine. Plus, the werewolf rivalry is brilliant.
He's just gonna take off his gloves.
All right.
Shit! They're werewolves, not swearwolves. It's the perfect movie for anyone who thinks vampires are cool, but also realizes that they'd be really terrible at everyday life.
Number 5. The Return of the Living Dead, 1985.
Zombies and punk rock. This film doesn't get any more 80s, and that's a good thing.
Ah yes, the movie that gives us talking zombies who only want one thing. Classic.
It's fast-paced, funny, and full of ridiculous zombie chaos. You've got the graveyards, the punk rockers, and that iconic Tarman zombie.
Not to mention the hottest graveyard topless scene like ever.
And the ending. Talk about dark humor. It's a wild ride from start to dark-ass finish.
Number 4. Behind the Mask, The Rise of Leslie Vernon, 2006.
An offbeat gem. Behind the Mask is like a love letter to slasher films that follow every rule, but with a pretty neat twist on the perspective.
Behind the Mask turns the whole genre on its head. You get to see the planning that goes into being a horror movie killer. Because, you know, it's not just about the look.
It's like watching a slasher documentary. The killer's walking you through his day-to-day and how to be the next big name in horror.
It's hilarious while sticking to all the slasher rules you expect.
Number 3. Tucker and Dale vs. Evil, 2010.
A heartwarming tale of friendship and accidental gruesome deaths.
This movie flips the horror trope on its head. Tucker and Dale are just two lovable hillbillies who keep getting mistaken for psycho killers.
And every time the group of college kids tries to take them out, they end up accidentally killing themselves in the most absurd ways possible.
It's a fun turn on a genre. Funny, but still got a story worth watching.
It's basically a lesson in why you shouldn't judge a book by its cover. Or a hillbilly by its flannel shirt.
Number 2. Evil Dead 2, 1987.
Ash is back in the house, baby, and this time things get even crazier.
It's like Evil Dead with a bigger budget and more slapstick comedy. Sam Raimi really leaned into the absurdity this time, and it pays off.
A true genre classic, Evil Dead 2 brings you funny gore while still managing to scare.
Whether chopping off his possessed hand or splitting his girl's head with a chainsaw, the gore and the laughs deliver.
Evil Dead 2 may be in many ways the benchmark for horror comedy.
Number 1. Shaun of the Dead 2004.
Probably the film a lot of you thought about when you saw the list.
It takes the zombie outbreak with unique British humor. With plenty undead, cricket bats, and emotional growth.
Simon Pegg and Nick Frost are hilarious as they bumble their way through the zombie apocalypse trying to save their friends and still make it to the pub.
Because, priorities.
The movie perfectly balances heart, humor, and horror. You care about these characters, but you also can't help but laugh at their bad decisions.
And fuck David, he got what he had coming.
And there you have it, dwellers, our top 10 horror comedies. Whether you're in the mood for some laughs, some blood, or a bit of both, these movies should have you covered.
As always, we know you've got opinions. Let us know your favorite horror comedies in the comments.
Because much like horror, we are always up for a sequel.
And don't forget to check out basement1f.com for sweet merch.
And if you'd like to help support us, first, thank you, then please check out our Patreon in the description. For Sally, I'm Mitch, and thank you for watching Basement 1F.
See you next time, dwellers.